welcome back to the rest of the story. And as the title says, this is it. This is the last day of actual harvest. This is the last footage I have of any corn harvesting, bean harvest, whatever we have for this fall. So on to everything else that's been kind of neglected on the farm that we got to get done, because I have a list of things that I should be working on. So, blue sky and sunny with snow everywhere. That's what we got to focus on. That's like the big thing we got to try to get done after we get everything back home. We need corn fodder. We're about 100 bales short of corn fodder, and to be comfortable going into winter. We've basically had winter conditions for the last week and a half already. We are feeding hay, feeding fodder, and we're cutting into our winter feed about 3 weeks, 4 weeks sooner than we typically have to. Not saying that we don't feed them a little bit earlier on, but we're full out feeding everybody here because we've already had 2 snow instances where the snow had completely covered the ground, and if you looked outside, it was a complete whiteout. Now, they are saying a chance of rain today, which I think will take away any snow that we may have left. I mean, we have a little, but as long as it doesn't turn to ice. And we can try to get a little bit of fodder made, but the problem is they're saying snow here in the next 3 or 4 days, so it might get kind of interesting. As far as this stuff is, this is Dairyland seed. It ran 200, what did it run? 201, I think it was. So, I guess it didn't run too bad. The AgriGold, I think it did a little bit better, but we actually had issues with our yield monitor, so I guess I really won't know what it actually runs until I get the tickets back from the river. Our yield monitor in the combine was goofy. We ended up breaking a wire on our wiring harness, and it wasn't reading right. Basically, since then, we figured there's a resistance or something going on there that's messing us up. So I did have a new wiring harness for the yield monitor in my truck, but I just was not willing to take the time to do anything to it because we pretty much ran nonstop the last 3 days of harvest. We kept 2 trucks running pretty well consistent all day. I think the most they waited was maybe 15 minutes. So we luckily were able to get the trucks gone as they were literally showing up. And I gotta say, I'm happy that we're done with harvest. I mean, that goes without saying, but we do have a bunch of issues with the combine that need to be taken care of. Basically, all of the belts on the right side of the combine need to be replaced before next harvest. A bunch of the augers, you can definitely tell, we could definitely tell, that the augers were acting up and they weren't moving grain as efficiently as they should be. And this is one of the hills that I've had to come out of on this field. It's kind of steep. Wasn't really worried about getting out. I mean, it was melted off and it was kind of soft coming down the hill, but it actually started to firm up that night because we got done about 9 o'clock, and all the ground that was mushy and muddy was firmed up and kind of slick by the time we left with the combine and everything. So, yes, I don't know. I guess I'm just glad to be done with harvest. That's kind of plays into why you guys weren't getting much from me, because it's kind of hard to do a video on the same thing for the last 2 weeks. I'm going to go through, clean the combine off, going to open everything up on it, all the doors and everything, hit it with the air hose, and we're going to put it away, pull the battery cables off of it, and basically fill it full of rat poison so the mice don't get into it. And then next summer we'll pull it back out, and we'll probably have a nice little video series of everything we have to work on the combine. And I'm going to probably do a video of No Till November. Probably going to be titled exactly that. Simply because the ground has been hard for like the last 3 weeks, and I only know of one person that's really done any tillage. I mean, there really isn't much for any tillage done in this area. They're there are a couple guys that are still running, and to be honest, there's a couple guys that are still running that I thought were done, and I see that they were out in the field the last 2-3 days, and we're pretty well done. And we have 2.5 acres of that wet ground that I'm going to try to do something with tomorrow, if I can do anything with tomorrow, and that'll probably be in the upcoming video as to whatever comes out of that. I do know it's soft. That field has never been that soft, that wet, that far up into the field before, away from the waterway. It's a good 24 or 36 rows up from the waterway is how wet it is, and that's happened once in the past that we've run that ground, and hopefully it doesn't happen anytime soon after this year. I'm hoping it can dry out, that I can at least get the ground worked next spring, because that is looking like a little bit of an issue. I don't know if I'll even be able to do anything to it next year. So that VT and that rhino cutter and the chisel plow, a lot of those tools are probably going to get used really heavily next spring, as long as we can maybe get out and do something. Let's hope for an early spring. So that's about all I can say there. And this is it for the harvest videos, guys. Thanks for watching. Let's see what we can do after today. So until tomorrow, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I will talk to you guys later.